Hello and welcome to the video. Today's video is going to be a little bit different because I'm going to be talking about my experience with the Stray Kids concert. Now, this is the middle of August 2025, and the concert that I went was in Orlando back in June, the middle of June. And yeah, it has been 2 months. And I really thought that I had to think about my experience and my memories from 2 months ago, but I completely forgot that I actually recorded a video talking about it, and it was part of the video of the unboxing for S Class and Rockstar, which is actually this week's video that I posted on Tuesday. And the first 10 minutes of that video was actually me talking about the concert. And the video that I posted on Tuesday for the unboxing of S Class and Rockstar, it ended up being 28 minutes, which is too long. But I've actually decided to kind of like talk about the concert on a separate video, but I kept some of my thoughts on seeing the members like with my own eyes, right? When I was at the concert, because I was actually talking about them when I was looking at the photo book. And so I didn't want to cut that part out. It just wasn't going to make sense. So if you really want to know about my thoughts on seeing them in person, you have to watch Tuesday's video for S Class and Rockstar. You don't have to watch the rest of the video if you don't want to. Um, but today, I actually included the first 10 minutes of that video in which I go over my experience of the concert. Now, when you hear that audio, is going to be me talking as if it's the Wednesday after the concert. So it is going to be kind of like confusing, but that's where the audio is from. And so what I am going to do is I'm going to post some really pretty pictures, and in between the pictures and me talking, I'm going to be showing some of the footage for the concert that I took uh, to keep the video entertaining. So hope that you guys enjoy it. I was able to go to the Stray Kid concert in Orlando, and I you know, the concert was on Saturday, and it is Wednesday right now, and I still having trouble processing everything that I experienced at the concert. It was my first concert as an adult. I've only been to two concerts when I was like a teenager, and it was my first K-pop concert, and I gotta say it was a fantastic experience. Um, it I don't know. I don't know if it is a post concert depression that I have. I don't think so because I don't feel sad. I don't feel angry. I just feel different. Um, Overall, I didn't take too many videos because I didn't want to have my phone in my hand and not enjoy the concert. Right. Um, It was a very unique opportunity. It was a last minute ticket. I was supposed to go to the concerts in California, but I couldn't. So I was just gonna miss their tour. But then I said, listen, I just live an hour and a half away from the Camping World Stadium, so like let me do it. I looked for a ticket and I got a ticket in the lower levels, third row. It was a perfect view because I was able to see the stage clear. And I also was able to see the screens, and it was a fantastic experience. I'm glad that I did it. Um, how I feel is I feel that it didn't happen. That's how I feel. So I'm having a hard time, and I look back at the videos that I shot with my phone just to basically tell my brain, no, 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 this actually happened. I actually saw them. It I got to the stadium like around 3:30 in the afternoon because I didn't have any, VIP ticket or anything that required me to be there early. So I arrived at 3:30, and I waited until 5:30 where the gates were open for the general public, right? It was hot. It was hot and miserable. So I walked around this stadium just to see the vibes, and this it was very strange. um, I kind of felt out of place for a second because I didn't dress uh, like and there were so many people like wearing all sorts of different outfits, which was actually fun. But it was a lot of people. It was very overwhelming, and I was just did a circle around the stadium just to see everything that was going on. It was so hot that I went back to my car and I just turned on the AC and I stayed there until the gates open. Then from 5:30 the concert started at 7:30. So we're still at the stadium for 2 hours, and it was fine. I got to meet other people uh, around, and it was fun. And then the concert started, and the 3 hours that the concert lasted, they went so fast, so fast. And honestly, like my brain is been having a hard time remembering everything. Like I felt like it all passed in a minute. And so I was thinking, should I actually go to another concert? Like New York, the first New York show is going to be today, then tomorrow, then they're going to go to DC, then they're going to go to Chicago, and then they're going to go to Toronto. Uh, I was thinking maybe going to Toronto, I like, why not? Crazy. But I think I'm just going to save the money for another time, for another tour. But that is how much I really liked the concert. It was fantastic. They were great. They're real. If you guys have not seen them, they're real. They look fantastic in person. They they were great. They were great. I don't have anything negative to say about my experience. The one thing that I found out that is somewhat disappointing, but you know, it's fans' choices. It's the whole VIP. If you have a ticket on the pit, you get a number based on the time that you get to the arena to pick up your package, your VIP package. So the day of the concert, you have to um, go early. At 10 o'clock is when actually they start handing the VIP packages and a wristband. And that wristband is going to have a number. And that number is the order in which you're going to enter. So if you really want to be right at the front, what the people call barricade, right at the fence line next to the stage, you have to be there really early. Talking that people have camped. They don't allow camping anywhere near the arenas or the stadium. So you kind of have to camp on the street. You have to camp at another place. And that is dangerous. But then the other thing is that it makes this situation a whole entire day situation. So let's say that you were not one of the people camping. You got there at 6 o'clock in the morning. Wait until 10 a.m. to get your package. If you're lucky enough to have someone to take you back home or take you back to your hotel, you can do that. But there's people that, they don't, right? They are young people, their parents go to work, they drop them off, and they can't leave. And so they spend the whole entire day from 6 o'clock in the morning in the stadium until 10:30 that in theory the concert ends. In Orlando it actually ended later. They stayed for a little bit longer, which I truly appreciated because nobody wanted to leave. So yeah, that is very
sad, especially in the summer when you're touring in the summer. It's so hot, so humid. It's very dangerous. Things can go wrong. And honestly, the sound check, I listened to the sound check from the parking lot that I was in. It lasted 10 to 15 minutes. It was very quick. So that is one of the perks on VIP. I mean, you do get some goodies. Um, I think this year it was a pillowcase, a like a eye mask, and some photo postcards, some postcards, something like that. And honestly, just don't know if it's worth the amount of money that you have to pay. The only thing that probably is worth the money is being as close as you can from the stage, you know. And I don't just don't know if being there camping or 6 o'clock in the morning is worth it. It's like a whole day ordeal. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, as a fan, you sometimes do crazy things, right? And that's perfectly fine, as long as you are aware of the situation. But I was thinking that maybe for the next tour, if they do like pit, that I will give it a try. But I don't see that. I don't see myself like waking up, not waking up, but like being at the place at 6 o'clock in the morning. I just don't see that happening. I don't know. But if you're one thing that I did notice that I will definitely do on the next tour, is I want to look at the seating chart for each venue. Because interestingly, in North America, right, they did Seattle, they did San Francisco, LA, Texas, came to Orlando. Hopefully, I'm not missing any cities. Orlando, and then the New York, um, DC, Chicago, and from all those venues. Oh, and Atlanta. I forgot Atlanta. Atlanta. I've been like, it's Texas, Arlington, Atlanta, Georgia, and then Orlando. From all the venues, the Atlanta venue and the Washington D.C. venue, that middle pit that you typically have, which basically is this, like it right up in front of the stage, right? You have pits on the sides of the extended stage, and then you have the pit in the middle, which is the one that probably a lot of people want to be because you're in the middle. Atlanta and Washington D.C. have actually seats there instead of a pit, which is perfect because you can sit. You don't have to be there at 6 o'clock in the morning because you have a seat with a seat number. You have a seat assigned to you. That is the way to do it. That is the way to go. But I didn't know that because the seating charts were not available before the pre-sale. So you kind of had to log in into that particular day and pre-sale to see what the seating chart was. And if I knew that Atlanta had a seating and Washington D.C. has seating, I would have prioritized those two, and I would have gone and be at the queue for those two dates, and I would have gotten a seat somewhere there. Um, but those are the only two that didn't have a pit there. That is a strategy that I am going to use for the next tour or any other K-pop artist tour. Is I'm gonna pay attention to the seating chart and see if in the very middle, if there's seats, because that is such a good position because you're right front and center, but then you have a seat. You don't have to worry about getting there too early. You do have to get relatively early for that sound check though. But the sound check was at 5 o'clock. Supposedly you're supposed to be on the line for the sound check at 3:30, which made no sense. But um at least 3:30 is better than 6 o'clock in the morning, right? Um yeah, that's my experience with Stray Kids.